Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is one of the weirdest knives I've ever seen. This is the Artisan Cutlery and Task Butcherling. Honestly, like almost objectively an ugly knife, but somehow in an appealing way. I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, I'm going to keep this one in my collection because it's just weird. And it's weird in a way that makes me like it. This is not going to be a knife that is aesthetically pleasing to everyone. In fact, I would guess that most people would find this not aesthetically appealing. But apparently the idea behind the design, and by the way, Task, I've handled some of his stuff through Poikolo. This is someone who intentionally creates things that are way off the beaten path. I think a lot of people, especially newer people who kind of, think that they know a lot about, when I know a lot about what makes a knife, a good utilitarian knife. It takes a keen eye. It takes a well-educated man. No, it doesn't. It's like standard, straightforward utilitarian cutlery. We have an ocean of that stuff. I've been saying this so often. It is essentially 101. Straightforward utilitarian function in a knife is about as basic as it gets. And honestly, I feel like I've got a less than a 2-year-old, and I feel like that's kind of right around the skill level. I'm kidding, right? Obviously, I don't make knives or anything like that, but the straightforward utilitarian stuff is pretty much something that anybody who's designing stuff like this, with the right functionalities and still considering that it has to be manipulated by the human hand, right? Maxace is another company that's a good example of that. They can, but they're kind of on side quests. They're doing things that are fun and interesting, to entertain themselves and their potential audience. So I have a respect for that. And I am sure that Task is fully capable of creating things that are more on the utility-oriented side. And so I just choose to kind of have fun with things like this. But you can view it however you want. This knife is available. I will link it down in the description. You guys can check it out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's up to you. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure to, make sure to subscribe, but make sure your notifications are on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and get a measurement. Overall length, it's only 7.65 inches, but it really feels like an 8-inch plus knife. 3.35 inches of blade and just shy of 3 inches of cutting edge. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons up against my full-size Vertilock Excalibur and my mini Excalibur at about 7.5 inches. So this guy's just slightly larger than the mini Excalibur. Let's go ahead and put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue and the Hogue Deca. Very similar in overall size to the Hogue Deca. And then finally, we'll put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. How is the action on this knife? Well, it's a crossbar lock, which is kind of an interesting choice. With what this knife has going for it, obviously, is a unique aesthetic design. And it's going to be appealing to some people and not appealing to others. The crossbar lock is not special, not new, obviously. In fact, people are largely bored of it. I wish Artisan Cutlery and a whole bunch of other companies would kind of, get to the realization like, hey, the crossbar lock's kind of like, people are kind of like ready to see other things. It doesn't need to disappear entirely, but we also don't need to be, every single design we make is a liner lock, a crossbar lock, or a frame lock. We need to mix in some other stuff there. And they have, they have the potential and the capability to do that. But it is a crossbar lock, and as far as crossbar locks go, it's got the high tension omega spring, so it feels good. It's very, very satisfying to deploy with the positioning of that stud there, and the stud is stepped and rounded properly. This has a little hole down here, and I discovered in the unboxing that I can actually pinky flip it, which is funny. You can also use the hole to wheel the blade out, but it's a bit awkward. I think the hole is mostly just aesthetic. It's supposed to look like a futuristic, like butchery kind of thing, obviously. I think people will still aggressively try to fit it into the role of utilitarian EDC so that they can criticize it for not fitting well in the role of utilitarian EDC. And if you find yourself doing that, my response to you and my advice for you would be stop it. Why are you doing that? It's obviously not meant to be the most practical thing on earth. Like, just kind of, just enjoy it for what it is, right? It's supposed to be fun. But anyways, yeah. As I review this and go over what makes it more or less utilitarian, right? But no, it is easy to manipulate, and I like that. I don't really have any problems with it. It feels good. The action feels very typical of other artisan cutlery knives, and there's really nothing to complain about in that department. Let's do carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It is maybe slightly, it's almost exactly the same. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. Now, this is a little bit of an awkward thing to carry because, it's not like a big object. It's just got things this kind of sticking out. Like, it's not the worst thing that you're going to notice it. It doesn't carry like a typical folded knife shape. It's not huge, but it might not be the most optimal thing for a lot of people to carry. Let's go ahead and do thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. If the only thing you carry in your pocket is your knife, then you'll be fine. If you carry other things in that pocket, it might be a little weird. Blade stock thickness is not crazy. Actually, it's thicker than I would have expected. It's about 140 thousandths or so. Is that right? It just doesn't look like 140 thousandths. Okay. That is crazy. It really does not look thick, but okay. Let's go ahead and weigh it. What are we looking at for materials? Well, we're looking at S35N, which, by the way, has been heat treated to 60 to 62. Thank you, Artisan Cutlery. We have a little bit of steel for the internals there, and that has to do with the housing for the crossbar lock, and then largely full-size titanium scales, plus a titanium backspacer and a milled titanium pocket clip, which we are going to talk about. The weight on this guy is 5.7 ounces. It's pretty heavy. This is a little bit of an awkward shape, and it's a little bit heavy. So, not something that's impossible to carry, just a little bit strange. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'll get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. Or you can check them out in the pinned comment. I couldn't remember where I was at there. I was focusing here on the screws, which are all T8, by the way. That's awesome. Except for the pocket clip screws, which are a T6. No big deal, but you can mount it on the other side. This is a crossbar lock. Not the most fun type of knife to take apart, but far from impossible. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Okay, meat and potatoes time. Is this actually comfortable to hold? Kind of. It's a little bit abrupt, like right in here. And I think anybody who was going to use this, like really like carry it and use it, because this is a fully functional knife, for sure. If you're going to carry it and use it, the underneath your index finger and your middle finger, that's going to fatigue. It is kind of, I'm not going to say that this little notch is an optimized ergonomic zone, but it is kind of cozy in a weird way. I don't know how often I'd use it. There's also jimping way up here. I guess maybe you could use that, right? Let's talk about the part that everybody wants me to talk about. Look at this blade shape. There are 3 different cutting bevels. The primary, which is hollow. Then we have the compound into the short flat. And then another long flat. Why? Is there a purpose to it? Right? This is those people who cannot comprehend the idea of a knife-shaped object not being made for some type of optimized, like not being optimized for something. And to those people, I say, sometimes things are just made for fun. You just kind of have to wrap your head, you're just going to have to accept that, because this is hardly the only thing in our part of the community that exists. I mean, this dates back multiple decades just in the current, like the modern knife industry, right? Let alone the historical world of strange knives and cutlery, right? Not everything has to be optimized for something. Sometimes a knife maker or designer can just go, hey, that'd be neat. Why don't we try that? And that's pretty much it, you know? So what is it optimized for? I don't think it's optimized for anything. I think it just, like I said, I think it just kind of looks neat. You got this, and it'll cut and it'll slice. I mean, you're running into this, and then it changes over here. It has this weird sort of fuller right here, and then this hole. Like, it's just kind of random. But, you know, the edge is just one continuous edge. So as far as resharpening it, I think initially people would look at that and go, oh my God, it's going to be a nightmare to sharpen, but I don't think so. And it's going to get a little goofy and weird as you continue, especially right here since you have like a thicker bevel. But it is straight. There's your plunge grind right there. It's not straight. It is continuous is what I meant to say. Now, where is the stop pin? Where is that located? Oh, that's good. That goes behind. I was worried it was going to be tucked under there behind the plunge grind, and it is not. So there you go. It doesn't really have much of a tip, right? You can do your little sort of draw cuts. I mean, it is kind of utility blade shaped. I don't know if this provides any sort of meaningful extra strength or anything. I don't want to make any, claims like that. But overall, it is a knife that is plenty capable of doing your general, common knife tasks. And it is a shape that allows you to hold on to it. It's just some areas are a little bit sharp, especially the end of that clip. My God, it's just like a little razor blade right there. I don't know why. Like, it makes me want to sand that down. I can feel that. Jimping, next to useless. This jimping up here, pretty good. Should be the same on both of them, right? But again, I feel like absolute functionality is not necessarily, and I think it's, people are going to point out the irony. They're called task though, and they can't even make a thing. How ironic that they're not task oriented. Shut up. Oh boy. Very, very much exactly what it is described as, the idea being when they were designing it on the Artisan Cutlery website. A futuristic sort of folding, butcher's knife or cleavery style blade. Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like here. I mean, these are not individual pieces. It's milled into the titanium, and then you've got some little divots right here, little holes that are milled in just for aesthetic fun, just for aesthetic aesthetic zest is what I was trying to say there. This juts out of the back, makes me think a lot of like the ADV, the original ADV Butcher. I wonder if there was a little bit of inspiration there. We have a little lanyard hole there, some jimping there. This pocket clip, I'm just going to be honest with you, it sucks. It's way too tight. It's way too thin at the bill, and it will fight your pocket in and out. Honestly, everything else about this knife makes it completely and totally pocketable, except for this ridiculously tight and thin build clip. I mean, it is like a clamp at the end of it. If you somehow manage to get it into your pocket, you're going to have to do battle with it to get it back out. To the point where, somebody's just going to go, never mind, I'll use scissors. Like that's how frustrating it is to carry this knife with this clip. But it does look cool, and it does look on theme. We have a stop pin located in its traditional spot right there. No shouldering, but it doesn't need it. It does run on bearings. You probably could have guessed that. No blade play, up, down, left to right. No lock stick. No pivot lash. Smooth and consistent in here. And a good snap into the closed position due to those, omega springs being high tension. And then we also have perfect centering. This knife comes in at $199 through Artisan Cutlery, and honestly, I think that's a pretty reasonable price tag, for the materials and the overall execution. Is this a recommendable knife? No, and not just because, not to everybody. Like, if you love how this looks, and you're like, I don't care about that pocket clip. Yeah, go for it, dude. I think you'll really like it. The average person is just going to be, it's limited by the fact that it doesn't really have, like, a super functional tip. Like, there's a little bit, but not much, right? The 3 grinds are really cool to look at, but not, necessarily like aggressively utilitarian. I think this is recommendable to people, who are kind of like me, who just like really weird premium stuff in their collection. Like, it's definitely a premium knife, and it is functional if you want to use it. It's just like, pretty much any other knife design I think is going to be more functional, but this is fine. Like, it's not necessarily going to slow you down too much if you're using it casually. It's really the pocket clip that kills this. That's the part that's going to frustrate so many people. I'm still going to keep it in my collection, not because I want to, EDC it. I just kind of like the design. It's just weird and different, and it stands out in a sea of, mediocre stuff that all looks exactly the same, right? Like the super duper straightforward minimalist utilitarian stuff. That's the stuff that I consider common and basically like super duper boring. So this is anything but that. Even with the really bad pocket clip, it is very, very much not boring. So that's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.